Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully I got this damn audio problem fixed. So once again, to talk with me about the Eagles and the Giants is the one and only King Dingbat, Philly500. What is going on, my man? How you doing?
Yo, everybody, how you doing again? Bad dog, what's going on? Thanks for having me. I've had a fun night. This has been actually very entertaining.
Oh, I'm sure it has. I'm sure everybody enjoys this very much because I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. But hopefully you can all hear it now because that would just show you that perseverance actually pays off. So, actually, no one's watching now. So, I don't even know what this is going through. But, anyway. So, we'll check this out. So, like I was saying, what's that? It's not private, no. It's not private. It's public. So, as I was saying before, though, the Giants have played better the last two. Before we had all these audio problems, the Giants have played well the last two games. Absolutely. Again, I'm not going to do cartwheels over beating the 49ers and beating the Bucks. But we have played better. And Eli Manning's played a lot better. We've run the ball a lot better. The Eagles have fallen on hard times. You know, losing to the Cowboys and getting crushed by the Saints 48-7. You have a lot of injuries in your secondary. So how exactly do the Eagles go about beating the Giants and stopping Odell Beckham, stopping Sterling Shepard, and Saquon Barkley, who had a huge game against you guys the last time you played?
Yeah, I mean, Giants got some weapons. There's no doubt about it. And I think that for the defense to be somewhat successful and stop them, they got to get a pass rush on Eli Manning. They got to get to Eli Manning. I think Timmy Jernigan might play this week. So with him and Fletcher Cox, hopefully that can help. I don't know how many snaps he can play, but we need to get pressure on the quarterback. We've struggled with that this year, and I think we got to do that. And then on offense, I think Wentz has to play better, and he has to be the guy that we know he can be. He's got to come back from that horrible, horrible game yesterday or last week. There's some stupid car.
I got you. But yeah, that's usually, I mean, the Eagles have definitely had our number they've had Eli's number almost his whole career. And I believe it is because that they constantly have gotten pressure on him and they force him to turn the ball over. He throws a lot of interceptions against the Eagles. He turns the ball over a lot. And I mean, I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I'd be willing to bet that he's turned the ball over against the Eagles more than any other team in his career, without a doubt. So, with that said, again, so one thing I did want to ask you about the Eagles this year, obviously Super Bowl champions last year. Besides the injuries, I mean, what do you think the biggest difference is between the Eagles of last season and the Eagles of this season? Why such a change? You know,
a lot of people would probably think it's the defense, but I think this defense, well, it's been banged up, but I think this defense is built to play with a lead. And I think the problem has been on the offense. I mean, you got Wentz coming back from injury, and that plays a part of it to a certain extent. Alshon was late, all those kind of things. But the offensive line has been bad. Beat up. Lane Johnson's been injured all year. And I think most important, after watching the Colts the last 3 weeks, I think the loss of Frank Reich has hurt this team. Because when I watch the Colts, they are the spitting image of the Eagles last year, more so than this year. And I think the offensive coordinator, Mike Groh, who they have now, who says he doesn't know how to use Golden Tate, is a big problem. It's a huge problem.
Yeah, I don't know how you get it. I don't know how you trade for a guy if you don't know how to use him. I don't know how you don't know how to use a superstar wide receiver. It seems like it would be pretty easy to me to figure out how to use him. But there is a lot of talk about the Frank Reich thing, and that's a really good point. I mean, injuries happen to everybody. You don't think there's a Super Bowl hangover at all or anything like that going on? You don't think they're a little too arrogant? Like, so some Eagle fans, before the year started, they were all screaming, oh, we're going to repeat, like it's that easy. And like I said to you, when we were trying to fix the audio for the last hour and a half, that as a Giants fan, I saw us win 4 Super Bowls. But the only year that we actually went to the playoffs after we won a Super Bowl was 2008. It is very difficult to repeat as champions because I try to tell these, a lot of Eagle fans before the year started, injuries can happen. I mean, that's obviously a huge part of any, health is a huge part of any championship. You play in a first-place schedule at this point. You don't have a last-place schedule or a third-place schedule at all. And obviously you have the target on your back. Everybody wants what you have. So you have the target on your back, and no matter how good or bad a team is, you're going to get their best week in and week out. So it's very difficult to repeat. So I don't know why there was so many Eagle fans out there just saying they were going to repeat like it was nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought the Eagles were going to be good. I thought they were going to be real good. I thought they were going to compete. I know repeating is hard, and I do think it's been humbling because I think that for the players, for the fans, we kind of never went through this. So to see teams come at you the way they are, and then you to play so late in the year, and people get surgeries real late, and then come back real slow, it is definitely hard. It's been eye-opening in that aspect, definitely. You do wonder, like, the loss they had to New Orleans, like, I didn't see the same team I saw last year. They didn't seem that hungry. And you got to wonder. There's something to it, for sure.
Right.
You know?
Now, the beginning of, well, actually, it was the preseason. One thing I noticed, I was doing, this is when I started doing live streams and stuff. And I was doing, I was joking around and I was talking Australian just to kind of make a preseason game interesting. You guys are playing the Cleveland Browns. And I remember watching that game and seeing how much pressure the Browns were getting on Nick Foles. And I remember saying to Eagle fans at that point, I said, I just chalked up the preseason, but I said, if I was worried, I'd be worried if I was an Eagles fans about your O-line. And it really looks like your O-line has been a lot weaker than it was last year. Do you think that that's because of injury? Do you think it's because you don't have a running game? Like, what do you think is going on with the offensive line where they just can't, they're not the same that they were last year?
I think it's a couple things. One, you get Jason Peters back. He comes back. He looks heavier. I think he's old. I think he's older. I don't think he's the same guy. Then you had a high ankle sprain early in the year for Lane Johnson, who's playing hurt through it. Then he has an MCL sprain, and he's playing through that. The other thing is this offensive line, they're at their best when they're running the ball, when they start to get yards and momentum, and everything seems to feed when they can run the ball well. But they don't even attempt to run the ball a lot, very often. And to me, it's kind of mind-boggling because they need that balance. And I don't think that they're very balanced. And I have to think about the offensive coordinator and the coach and what kind of game plan they're really calling.
Right. See, that's what I was complaining about as a Giants fan, that we drafted Saquon Barkley second overall, and for whatever reason, we refused to use him at the beginning of the year. But the last 2 weeks, they've really been able to use, they've used Saquon Barkley. He carried the ball 20 times against the 49ers and 27 times against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he had 3 total touchdowns. So it's about time that the Giants found that balance, which is a reason that, I picked us to win. And it has been years since I've actually felt confident about beating the Eagles. We have not beat you in Philadelphia since 2013 and Matt Barkley. But because of all your injuries, because of all those watching just how difficult it is for you guys to cover people, if we're able to protect Eli Manning, I feel like we have a really good shot of going in there and winning this game. I mean, again, we're just, the confidence plays such a role in teams. You find a little confidence, you win a couple games, you start getting better team chemistry, and you start to feed off of that because it's a good feeling. And Lord knows I haven't had that feeling too much over the past 2 years because we've not been good at all, to say the least. But I do feel like we have a good shot. This is the best shot we've had at beating you because these are two totally different teams than the first time we met, when you guys crushed us 34-13. I don't want to play the Eagles on Thursday night anymore. We don't even, I don't know what the hell. It's good. It's like Roger Goodell says, we want to give the Giants at least one loss, so we're going to make sure that they play the Eagles on Thursday night because we can't beat you this
every year. Play them every year on Thursday. Forever. Every Thursday.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles also, I think the Jay Ajayi injury really hurt them.
Yes.
Maybe because that injury, maybe Doug has gone away from the run too much, didn't want to trust enough a rookie, because Smallwood, he stinks. And then Clement, he's a backup. And, I think maybe that has something to do with it. But, I'll tell you one other thing. Torrey Smith last year, he's not that good, but he's good enough to stretch the field. Mike Wallace going down really created a hole with that second wide receiver spot that we really haven't been able to fix. Even getting Golden Tate, who they don't know how to use or even try him outside, has hurt us.
Right. Let's go to the chat real quick. Just want to say what's up to Sydney, Rick H., your so typical Last Jedi, Sydney, Chris, Mr. Calculus. The Sports Fury is in the house. The Sports Fury is here. They're here. But I always want to say to you guys in the chat, man, thank you so much for bearing with me for the audio problems I've been trying to figure out for the last 90 damn minutes. As I said, perseverance pays off. So it's freaking nice to know that I actually persevered, because Philly will tell you that I was about ready to give the hell up. And I kept saying, no, I'm figuring this the hell out. And here we are, a couple of things. Like you said, a couple of idiots. This is the biggest idiot right here. What a dingbat I am.
Well, I mean, they're two idiots. They're two older guys that have no idea how to use the computer, and you're trying to figure it out. You're asking me. I have no idea what you're saying. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. I mean, we took a double moonwalk in the
yeah. The technology definitely double moonwalk my ass 2 times or 3 times over, man. It's freaking crazy. Okay, so the Eagles, after the Giants, who you think you're going to defeat, which is understandable. You're not going to, but it's understandable. Okay? So I don't know the exact order of which you play these teams. So you have the Rams, you have the Texans.
No, we got the following game after.
No, I didn't know which game. I'm just saying the 5 teams you have left. You can tell me but you have the Rams, the Texans, the Cowboys again, and the Redskins twice, right? That's correct. So how many of those games do you actually think that you will win out of those last 5? You say you beat the Giants and you go to 5-6. How many of those last 5 games do you legitimately think you have a chance to win?
Like in all, like not hope, just in logic.
Yeah. How many? If you're looking at the schedule right now and you're saying, we can beat this team, we're going to lose here, or we might lose here, we can beat this team. Like, what do you think your record is over those last 5 games?
I think we can beat the Redskins. I think we can beat. I would like to think we could beat Dallas, but the way they're playing right now, it's a little scary. I'll say we finish probably somewhere reasonably. I could see a 7-9, 8-9 best.
You think 8-8 You think 8-8 can win the division?
No, I think 9-7 is going to win this division. I think you have to go 9-7. What the Eagles have to do is they have to beat the Giants. Now, see, a lot of what I feel about what happens later on is really going to come from this game, because I see this game as a gut check game. They came out, they got embarrassed, they got destroyed, and I want to see what kind of makeup this team has. I want to see what they're made of. They should be pissed off, and they should come out, and it should be balls out against the Giants. And if they win, then they got the Redskins at home Monday night, and if they can win that game, they can win those 2 games. Then I think they got a shot, Right. But I don't know I don't know what I'm going to see, because I felt a lot of the players quit and showing heart in this last game. So I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting season for a lot of reasons. Like, who would have thought the Bears at this point would be, what are they, 8-3? Like, did you really? I didn't. I did not think that. I'm sure Josh did over there, but I definitely did not see 8-3. I know the Bears are a sleeper team going into this year, and we have them next week. Good God, I don't even want to think about the Bears right now. But the Eagles have just. It seems very interesting. The funny thing is, like, the Giants have had that happen to them. Last year, we lost to the Rams. I think it was 51-17, and I swear to God, everybody quit on the coach. And that's when it was like, McAdoo's got to go, and all this crap happened. But sometimes, man, and I thought this with the Panthers when the Steelers, beat the Panthers' ass. Like, they triple moonwalk the Panthers' ass.
Yeah.
And they go, and the Panthers go into Detroit, and I did the picks with Sports Fury that week, and I said sometimes, it takes a good ass kicking to get a team back on track, but it did not help the Panthers. Sometimes the team is just really bad. And no matter how mad they are or whatever, how determined they are, it doesn't really translate onto the field because of the lack of talent or because of all the injuries that you guys have. So, again, I think it'll be interesting just because your secondary is so beat up. And we talked about it before. For me, the entire game, for me, rests on our offensive line. If we protect Eli Manning, I think it's going to be a long day for Philadelphia. I really do, because if Eli's got 3 or 4 seconds to throw the ball and he could locate Odell Beckham or Sterling Shepard, I never even use Evan Engram as an example because I can't stand Evan Engram. Everyone's like, oh, Evan Engram runs a 4.4. Oh, Evan Engram this. Evan Engram can't catch the ball. It never seems like he's open. So, I mean, what the hell is Evan Engram even doing? Who the hell knows? But he is a weapon. And, again, Barkley had the huge game. So, he could be going out on wheel routes. They do a lot of screen passes with him. So there is a lot of weapons for the Giants. What I worry about is our defense. Our defense sucks. I think we have 11 sacks the whole year. So if Carson Wentz...
You have 11 after.
Yeah, we probably will. I mean, Carson Wentz is mobile. Mobile quarterbacks have always hurt the Giants since I can remember. And again, I think if you give Carson Wentz time, he'll absolutely shred us because our secondary is not good. I mean, Tampa Bay turned the ball over 4 times against us, and we stopped them inside the 5. So really 5 turnovers, and they still scored 35 points. So definitely we have got to get pressure on Carson Wentz without a doubt. Which brings me to my next question. A lot of Eagle fans have been calling for Carson Wentz's head. They want him to sit down. They're saying he's a bust. They're saying no good. I came on video and said, listen, I'll say this right now. I will give you our first-round pick in 2019 for Carson Wentz. You want to do it? Want to give me Carson Wentz? No? Okay. But what I was going to ask you is, these same fans calling for Carson Wentz to be benched are the same people that when Nick Foles started the year, they're saying, oh, Foles sucks. He's no good. We got to get rid of him. We can't wait for Carson Wentz to get back. I mean, what do you say to guys that are now kind of wanting to go back to Nick Foles from Carson Wentz?
Well, it's interesting because there's really 2 fashions. Like, there's those who blame everything on Carson Wentz. Like, they see them lose to Carolina. They blame Carson Wentz because of the final drive of the game. They blame him because of how bad the whole team played last week. Like, I watched that New Orleans Saints game. I see a quarterback who's trying to make something happen because nothing's happening. He's pressing.
Right.
I really think that if you look at Nick Foles, when he played the preseason, he was horrible. First 2 games, we were lucky to win the first game. He wasn't really good against Tampa Bay. We know how bad their defense is. But I think that there's those who just blame the quarterback no matter what. But there's also those who secretly want Nick Foles to be the franchise quarterback because he won the Super Bowl. So anytime Carson does anything, they want to remind you because they really think Nick Foles should be the franchise. I think it's ridiculous. I think Carson Wentz is a great quarterback. He's a young quarterback. And, guy's coming back from a torn ACL. And despite as bad as he's played, look at his numbers. Look at what he does. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't understand it either because, again, Carson Wentz, in my opinion, was going to win the MVP had he not torn his ACL. I mean, he had a huge season for you guys last year. He's a strong-arm quarterback. And, again, he's had great numbers. So he played bad against New Orleans. He's human.
No doubt.
Human beings have bad games. I mean, I go way back when. I can remember when the Giants won in 1990. We won it with a backup quarterback. I think the Eagles are only the second team to ever win with a backup quarterback. I know that Vince Ferragamo was a backup quarterback for the Rams in '79, but they lost the Steelers. So I don't know. I mean, I guess you could consider Doug Williams a backup quarterback in '87. I really don't know all the logistics of the backup quarterback. But I do know that going into the 1991 season, the Giants named Jeff Hostetler their starting quarterback over Phil Simms, which I thought was ridiculous, even though Hostetler led us, but Simms was our quarterback. So again, just because Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, yeah, he had a great run in the playoffs. And you guys were a great team, though. It's something I had to accept because I always used to bust on the Eagles fans. I loved rubbing in the ring check. I loved telling them you ain't won a Super Bowl, try to win something. This division's got 12 championships, you ain't got one. That was always fun for me. I can't do it anymore. But early, yeah, there he is right there. He helped out tonight. But
I was praying.
Me too. I think prayers are finally answered. But Carson Wentz, yeah, I mean, he's a great quarterback. I don't understand why you'd want to give up on a third-year quarterback, why you think all of a sudden he can't get it done. Like I said, he's going to have a bad game. It happens. I mean, you could have Eli Manning. I mean, how many bad games has Eli Manning had? Yeah. But, I mean, I think Carson Wentz, like I said, I think he would have won the MVP had he not gotten hurt.
Yeah.
And he's had a great year this year. I don't know what people don't see. Sometimes I wonder if they actually pay attention to what's going on. Because that's mind-boggling to me.
I think it's easy to blame the quarterback. And, Carson is not running as much as last year, but that's kind of expected the first year back of an ACL. Usually it takes a whole year, they say. And I don't get it either. I mean, I really think that Carson Wentz I think that our record would be worse. I think he's kept us in games for the most part and done a lot to keep us even close into games. So, I don't know. Like, they blame him for the Titans loss. He gives them the lead in overtime. and they blame him because
Right.
the defense allows a touchdown. I don't, I just laugh it off. I think it's ridiculous.
It is interesting. I mean, to me, there's a lot of Eagle fans. Obviously, I've been on YouTube a while. I went back and forth with many Eagle fans over my time, and I thought that for sure winning a Super Bowl would cure this. And for some reason, I think it's made it worse. Like, I almost feel like you got a taste of it, and of course you get a taste of it. You want it over and over and over again. But it's not that easy. I mean, look at we've played 52 Super Bowls, and the team with the most Super Bowls is the Steelers with 6. It's not that easy. It's not that easy to win a Super Bowl. I mean, the Patriots have been there. God only knows how many times. They've only won 5 of them. Thanks to my team. I mean, our 2 teams are the only ones that beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So we do have that in common. I mean, we do have that going for us, without a doubt. So, looking ahead to next year's draft, real quick. What position do you think the Eagles need to target? Where do you think you're weak? Is it secondary? Is it O-line? Like, where do you think you need to target going forward next year?
My opinion is that this league has changed. This is an offensive-first league. You have to be able to score points. You have to be able to match. Just look at the best teams in the league. They're not really great defenses anymore. So I think you have to target somebody on the offensive side, whether that's an offensive lineman, which you have to protect Carson Wentz, or a skilled position. But me, personally, I'm going the offensive side of the ball, and I'm going to cut a lot of fat. And I can tell you, I would load up offensively. That would be my game plan.
All right. So I don't know where you guys would be picking, and I don't know where he's going to go in the draft. I don't know how much college football you watch, but I'll tell you who would look well. It wouldn't look nice for me because it would actually suck because I really like this guy, and I hate seeing any of my Sooners go to the Eagles. It hurts my feelings. But Hollywood Brown, man, that receiver, that's what I think you guys, you don't have a home run hitting receiver. Alshon Jeffrey's a nice receiver. Golden Tate's a nice receiver. Nelson Aguilar's come on. He looked really bad his rookie year, but he's played a little better. But Hollywood Brown sits there. Say you draft 16th and he's there. I mean, is that somebody you take? He's Antonio Brown's cousin. He's got an incredible pedigree, and he flies. I mean, that's a home run hitter right there.
They need a home run hitter. That's hurt them. I mean, even though Torrey Smith wasn't that good, he still could stretch the field. Mike Wallace got hurt, could stretch the field. They need that. They need that Deshaun Jackson type burner on that side. I would be all for it.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson.
It would open up so much for everybody else, for Ertz, for Alshon, for Aguilar. I mean, they need a home run hitter.
Yeah, I think that's a big part missing in your offense. And again, that's something you can only do so much with what's around you. And I think that part of the thing that some of the Eagle fans don't understand about Carson Wentz is the fact that you really don't have a running game because you don't have your Jay Ajayi. So there's more pressure on Carson Wentz. And I know this is, again, as a Giants fan with a bad offensive line and no running game, how much pressure it does create on the quarterback. That's why when we got Saquon Barkley, I was thrilled, and I thought Eli Manning could actually have a big year because I said Eli Manning's not going to have to throw 45 times, 50 times a game to win. We now have a running back where Eli Manning should be throwing less and less. And if you look at the 3 games Eli Manning's won, he threw 31 passes, 29 passes, and 18 passes. Every other game he threw more than 35. So I think that there's a lot more pressure on Carson Wentz, and maybe they're not really realizing how much not having Jay Ajayi, not having that number 1 back, really hurts the Eagles because Corey Clement shows signs, but he's inconsistent. Wendell Smallwood has shown that he really can't play at this level in any kind of, he can play, but you're not worried about Wendell Smallwood. Josh Adams looks like your best running back, but again, he's not a proven guy. So I just think, and again, you have Golden Tate, nice receiver, you have Alshon Jeffrey, but you don't have that guy where, defenders are like, oh, I got to make sure this guy don't beat me deep.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you're totally right. That's a big problem, and I don't know if that's why they throw so much. You know what I mean? I don't know if that is why, or they're just ignoring it. But they definitely could run the ball last year. Last year they would run the ball, and there was balance, and it opened up things for Carson. Now it's like, and he gets hit so much. They love to do when you see Carson line up under center. 90% of the time it's a play action fake. No defense even bites on a play action fake,
right?
Because they don't run enough to bite it, and creating those kind of problems where the defense knows what the quarterback is going to do before he does it. I don't care what quarterback you have, it's going to be very hard to move the ball constantly down the field when you're so unbalanced.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and that's what I was saying about the Giants, is that when we're completely unbalanced, when there's no threat of a run, obviously you're going to load up on the pass. You're going to start blitzing. You're going to start bringing a lot of pressure, because if there's no threat of the run, you can drop back. You can do a lot of different things. You can blitz. You ain't got to, and especially because you ain't got to worry about anybody beating you deep. So you can blitz the Eagles and say, I don't have to worry about Alshon Jeffrey torching me 60 yards down the field or Golden Tate torching me, whereas when you had a Torrey Smith, he's a burner. He could stretch the field. So I definitely think that makes a big difference. I mean, and play action is huge in this league. If you can't run the ball, again, why are they going to bite on the run? Say, I don't care, run the ball. We'd rather you run the ball anyway. So, yeah, the play action is a big part of what you guys do, especially with the RPO with Wentz. But again, because his ACL was torn, and it does usually take about a year for it to heal. You don't want him running. You don't want him. You don't want what happened to Robert Griffin to happen to him, where they move him back too early and they have him running and he ends up hurting himself worse and never be the same again.
Yeah, it's brutal. And the thing with the play action too is when the defense doesn't bite, the play takes long to develop. Mm-hmm. The idea is that you want them to bite, they all step back, and it gives you time and it opens up things. Well, they don't even bite. It's just full out blitz, just go at the quarterback. And I think the Eagles have become too predictable, too one-dimensional, and they don't have enough talent around Carson to make up for it. You know what I mean?
Right. So Dallas is in first place.
Ugh.
Do they still stink?
They stink. Like I said, there's a difference between stink and stinks. Dallas still stinks. In the plural from years back to the future forever.
Okay, that's a good answer. They definitely still stink, without a doubt.
But they're going to lose again.
They're going to lose. Thursday night, they're going down. I mean, the Saints are going to
take double moon off in the ass.
Yeah.
With a little twist in the shape.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
New Orleans I think New Orleans is the class of the NFL. I don't think there's a team better than them right now. They have everything you want. They got Breeze, who's playing at an all-time high. You know, he doesn't get any older. You got Michael Thomas, who's one of the best receivers in the league. You got Tyquan Smith coming out of nowhere. You got Kamara and Ingram, who are the best dual running back threats in the NFL, and they're impossible to beat in New Orleans. And if you look at their rush defense, their run defense is actually pretty good. So, I mean, they're really, really dangerous. And they did beat the Rams. I mean, the Rams are the one team that maybe could compete with them. But, again, if that was played in Los Angeles, maybe it's a different story. But it's played in New Orleans, and now they're probably going to have the home field throughout. So, New Orleans is tough. And, I mean, if Dallas somehow finds a way to win that game, then I think they got to be the favorites to win this division. But I don't know how they're going to beat New Orleans. New Orleans is really good. The only thing I can say is Dallas' defense is pretty damn good. So, especially out of our division, they're the best defense. So maybe.
And Van Der Esch he's awesome. Yeah, I hate to say it, but that guy is a star.
No, he really is. I mean, he is freaking awesome. I mean, I hate to say it too because he's on the Cowboys. I'm like, damn it, I wish we had that guy. You know, I would love to watch him play. I like watching him play. I mean, he's an amazing athlete, and he's just really, really exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Just
the wrong team.
Yeah, I know. You don't hate the guy, you hate the laundry. You always root against the laundry, not the player.
I hate that stupid satanic star on their helmet.
Yeah, I didn't even know who it was. The guy.
Jesus just winked at me.
There he is. You know, he don't like him either. That's what they always used to say about the old whatchamacallit, Dallas, that God could look in and watch him play. We always said that was God's toilet bowl. You know what I mean?
You know, it's like you know, like watch your enemies, keep your enemies close, right?
Yeah,
that's what he's doing.
I think that's one thing we can agree on is that we don't like Dallas very much.
We hate them.
So with that said, who do you think wins the East?
I mean, the NFC East, you have to, if we're being honest, I think Dallas is the inside track. I think they're playing the best ball right now. They're using Zeke Elliott. I think Amari Cooper has made a big difference for this team.
Yes.
And I think that right now they have the inside track. They beat Washington, so they got to split with them. I think Washington losing Alex Smith, I don't believe McCoy can do it. And then I would say the Eagles, you know, I really don't know what to expect from them because of what happened in the New Orleans game. So tomorrow, to me, is a real interesting question to see what were they going to be. But Dallas has to have the inside track right now, if we're being honest.
Right. So
I hate to say it.
They do. I think they're playing the best football out of anyone in the division. to be honest, because they've actually, but like I said, the Giants played really well last 2 games, but those 2 teams have 5 wins combined, and Tampa Bay's got like the worst defense in the history of the NFL. They're on track to have the worst defense in the history of the NFL. So I'm not doing I feel it's good to win games. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I really do think we're going to beat the Eagles just because, again, all those injuries in your secondary, you really haven't had the same pass rush that you've had over the years. And for whatever, and I'm never confident playing the Eagles. I'm just not, because you guys find the just most absurd ways to win these games. Okay? Last year, we lost on a 61-yard field goal. This year, we lost on a 60. Go figure, Graham Gano kicks a 63-yard field goal to beat us, right, at the buzzer, and misses 2 extra points in Detroit. What the hell is going on? What the hell? And then the second game, Eli Manning throws for 450 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the Eagles block an extra point, a field goal, and a punt and beat us by 5 points. They find the most outrageous ways to beat the Giants. We're just cursed against this damn team.
And I think that's why I have confidence. One of the reasons why I think we'll get it done. But my favorite, the one that nobody talks about, you may remember this, but the Eagles, I think, and the Giants were fighting for a division. And the game went to overtime. And the Eagles were lining up to kick a field goal on 3rd down. Mm-hmm. It gets blocked. Clyde Simmons picks it up and runs it in for it.
Oh, I remember that. Of course I remember that.
Nobody talks about that. That was something.
But I do. I remember that. I also remember Carl Banks having Randall Cunningham wrapped around the waist and somehow Cunningham getting out of it and throwing a damn touchdown. I remember 1990, we started out 10-0, and then you double moonwalked their ass 31-13 in Philadelphia. I remember all this crap. This is why I hate the Eagles, because my whole life, this team has been a thorn in my side. Even when we were Super Bowl champions, they were the team that always gave us the biggest problem.
And they always will.
Yeah. I hope not. I hope not. You're lucky I ran out of eggnog, because otherwise I ran out of eggnog trying to fix this audio. I'd be drinking it right now. I know, so I would have been rubbing. I said, okay, you want to talk about that? But I think we've beaten you, 2 times in the last 10? It's something ridiculous. 3 times in the last 10 years?
Yeah.
You're like 17-3.
I don't know what the exact statistic is offhand, but I know it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. For whatever reason, we give you guys, we always find a way to win weird games with you guys and always win. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm going into tomorrow thinking we're going to get it done.
Yeah. Well, like I said, for me, this is the most, the most confident I've been, for the simple fact you guys are very injured. And I like the way our offense is playing. I think that Jamon Brown has been an unsung hero for the Giants. I mean, Giants fans noticed Jamon Brown. But it immediately made an impact, because I can remember watching the Niners game. And the first few times Eli dropped back, I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, in my head, I'm like, what the hell's different? Like, I'm sitting there watching, I'm going, what's different? Something looks different. I was like, it took me like 5 plays. I said, oh, he's got a pocket. Like, there's a pocket there for him to step in. He's being protected. Like, I really honestly could not figure it out because I hadn't seen it all year. So, again, you've talked about it, and I've talked about it. I really think the key, this is all hinges on the protection of Eli Manning. If we protect him, we win. If you get to him like you have over his whole career and force turnovers, I think you're going to win. I really think that's the difference. The Giants have to do what they've been doing. They got to run the ball. They got to protect Eli Manning. We do that, we win the game. We don't protect Eli Manning, we're in trouble.
Yeah, because you're going to tear that secondary. If he's got time, he's going to tear that secondary up, because we're so banged up and so decimated. The only way is, and I think that it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think this is a high-scoring game.
Yes, I do too.
And the Eagles are going to have to be, they're going to have to be aggressive. They're going to have to go 4th and 1, 4th and 2. They're going to have to play like, they're going to play like their lives depend on it, because their season, if they don't win this game, the season's over.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Because listen, there's Giants fans saying if we go to 4 and 7, that we might win. We might get in the playoffs. But we got the Bears next. Like I said,
if you beat the Bears and the Eagles, you play the Bears after the Eagles, right? So you win those 2 games. I may start to look at you guys a little differently, but
if we beat the Eagles in Philly and beat the Bears, then and only then will I start saying, you know what, now maybe I'll drink the Kool-Aid. Now maybe I'll get on board with, hey, because the Bears are the best team we play the rest of the year. We have the Titans and we have the Colts, and they're both pretty tough. The Titans can't figure them out. The Colts have been playing great. And then we have the Redskins one more time, who are, I mean, they're worse than you on injuries. I mean, they're just, injuries killed them. And then we finish with Dallas. So it would be amazing if that game against Dallas came down to win the division. Let me ask you this. Say the Giants are 8-7, and they play Dallas for the division title. Who are you rooting for in that game?
That's a really hard question because I hate both teams for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys is more of a fan type thing to me personally.
Yeah.
But the Giants as a team rivalry is bigger to me.
Right, yeah, it is. Yes.
Dallas.
Yeah.
So it's a really a no-win situation. I would probably slightly go for the Giants.
Yeah.
Because then I can tease Dallas fans the whole year.
Right.
You know, you lost to the Giants, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And I can get and look, I'm a guy who respects quarterbacks. I respect guys that come in and did things. So I have respect for Eli Manning, and if that's his going out party, hey, it would be a great story.
Right, that would be a great story. So thank you so much for the super chat, Zantastic over there. Zantastic threw me a little super chat over here. He says the season's over, Philly. What do you think about that?
It ain't over till it's over. You know, it ain't over till it's over. I've seen it happen. You as a Giant fan.
Yeah.
I've seen your team go on a run nobody thought would happen. And
both years.
You got 3 road games, right? I mean, it happened. It can happen.
Yes.
I'm not saying that I'm banking on it, but look, as long as we have a breath of life, I'm gonna be rooting for my team to win.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the way I am.
Well, that's the thing with me. We were 1-7. Everyone's like, "Do you want to tank, Bad Dog? You want to tank?" I said, "No, I don't. I want to win. I don't want to. I never sit in front of my TV, or now it's my computer, and doing these live streams. Which, by the way, I did not put your link in the channel. I will put. You guys got to sub up Philly500. If you don't know who the hell Philly500 is, seriously, you're missing out on one of the best video makers on YouTube. Definitely my favorite Eagles video maker. I'm very appreciative that you're here with me tonight. And this guy has the patience of a saint to deal with me and my freaking swearing and everything else I was going through, and I was trying to figure out the damn audio. The fact he held on for an hour and a half, I really, really, really want to thank you for that. But when I'm done with this, I will definitely be putting a link to his channel in the description. You guys need to sub him up if you haven't done so, because, again, the guy is just freaking awesome. I would drink a beer with you any day, or eggnog if you had any, but you know what I'm saying.
I feel the same way about you, so thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no. Perpedix just, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it. He says, Wentz is the most inaccurate quarterback in the NFL.
Wait, what's his completion percentage? 69%? Just under 70%? That doesn't sound too inaccurate to me. Got a quarterback rating of 100.1, I believe, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I mean, it's not as bad as people say.
Right.
The thing is that there's been a couple moments in that Carolina game that people have just focused on relentlessly. Mm-hmm. You know, he should have hit Smallwood. Yeah, maybe, but maybe he didn't trust Smallwood because the week before, Smallwood dropped the same pass against you guys. The Saints game, there's just no excuse. The whole team was bad.
Yeah.
You know, but, I mean, 69%, how can you be so inaccurate? Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. When you're losing, there's really... I mean, I don't know if this is even a saying. If it's not, then I'm going to coin it. But if you're losing, there's just no winning. You know what I mean? You can't win. No matter what you do, there's going to be fans that just say, you know, whatever. Brother, I really appreciate the super chat. Perpedix just sent another super chat. He says, other than Cam Newton, of course. Yes, Cam Newton is a very inaccurate quarterback. Wentz, I don't think, is inaccurate. I think Wentz had a bad game. I think that happens to every quarterback. Listen, I dealt with Eli Manning for a year. Eli Manning was one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks at the beginning of his career. And a lot of that goes to game plan. Kevin Gilbride was not a short pass, quick slant type of guy. He was a 7-step drop, throw the ball 20 yards down the field. And that's going to make you inaccurate. So that's part of it. I mean, that's part of the reason Eli Manning's completion percentage is up, is because there's so many dump-offs and everything else. But again, I think statistics only tell part of the story. I am not a statistic guy. I say it every week. Statistics are for fantasy football and losers. I don't care about stats. I care about wins. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, wins is what it comes down to, and with losing is going to come that kind of, that people are going to say stuff about him, and Carson has to be able to deal with it. I expect him to be able to deal with it and keep moving, but I think that it's just very easy to put on him. I think people are really not looking at how many times he's getting hit, how many times they're throwing, and it's just so predictable. And the only guys he throws to is Alshon Jeffrey and Ertz. Alshon Ertz. Teams focus on these things, and it only makes it harder. So I think that, they're losing. He deserves the criticism. Give it to him. I think he can deal with it. But there's just a lot more going on.
You just mentioned one name there that really, really, really scares me, and that's Zach Ertz. George Kittle tore us up in San Francisco. He made Landon Collins look bad. He ate Landon Collins' lunch, and then he went to Landon Collins' mom's, opened up the fridge, and ate her lunch too. Zach Ertz, in my opinion, is the best tight end in this league. I don't know if the Giants can stop Zach Ertz. I mean, I'm willing to say Giants need to find a way to double cover Ertz, because Ertz, I mean, he's having a magnificent season. Yeah. And again, we have not been able to cover the tight end ever. And George Kittle's a great tight end. He's not as good as Zach Ertz, in my opinion. Maybe someday he will be, but right now Ertz is playing above and beyond. And that includes Travis Kelce, in my opinion. Yeah. But he is extremely, extremely dangerous. That is the one guy on your offense that, besides Carson Wentz. If Wentz has time, I don't care who your receivers are, he can kill us. I've always been a fan of Carson Wentz. And again, this goes back to like you and Van Der Esch. I hate the jersey Carson Wentz wears. But yeah. I really like Carson Wentz. But Zach Ertz scares me a lot. But again, I think that Eagle fan, I don't understand how you just look at he's been in the league 3 years. He really led you to the Super Bowl last year. I know he got hurt, but you guys were, 11-2 before he got hurt. And again, he was on his way to an MVP caliber season. I just don't see how you just turn on him so fast. That baffles me. How they could just all of a sudden get on him so quickly. And Nick Foles is not the answer. Like, I don't know why they think Nick Foles could do a better job with no O-line, no receivers, no home run hitters, and no running back. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I agree. It baffles me. But since that Indianapolis game, since the first game he played, as soon as he threw an incompletion, it was put Nick Foles back in. Mm-hmm. So I've been dealing with it all year. And it's just the way it's going to be. And I think for Carson, I mean, he's going to have to win one and play in Super Bowl. Otherwise, it's always going to be hanging over his head. He didn't win one. It was Nick Foles. Even though he was the guy that put us in that position. He was the guy who kind of changed the whole mindset of the team. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so, but he's going to have to win one at some point.
Meet the Mets, man. Thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. I really appreciate it. I'm going to keep doing my thing. I love this, man. This is freaking, I love this. I'm glad I finally figured out the audio because this is the guy that I was like, I want to work with my man, Philly500. We tried to do a live stream. We were going to do a live stream, which might reminds me. He will be live streaming the Eagles-Giants tomorrow. I will be live streaming the Eagles-Giants game tomorrow. So what you guys can do, when the Giants score, you can obviously go over there and make fun of them and tell them the Eagles stink and watch them rage a little bit. And when the Eagles score, you can come over me and watch me scream and yell at the TV and say the Giants suck and all those fun things. But I think that would be fun. You get an Eagles fan perspective, you get a Giants fan perspective. I mean, check it out. That's what I always do. Like, when I always love when he's there, I'm like, ooh, I gotta, if I'm doing something, like in the kitchen or whatever, I usually have your live streams up if the Giants aren't playing. And I'm always just, like, listening to them. But I always run back. I'm like, ooh, I gotta see what he says about this, because everybody loves, isn't it funny how everybody loves your misery? Like, everybody loves to watch you be miserable. Like, people come to my live streams and they go, Bad Dog, you gonna rage today? Yeah, I'm gonna rage today, of course.
Company, right?
It does. About Carson Wentz, go back to Carson Wentz real quick. Do you think it's because he had such a good year last year that they expect more of him this year, and that's why they're on his case? Did he set the bar too high last year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he did. He was going to win the MVP. He set a franchise record touchdown passes. I mean, they were destroying. Like 3 or 4 games, he was out in the fourth quarter because they were so far ahead.
Right.
But people go, well, he hasn't won a game in the final drive or anything, and I think that he set the bar high. And I think that people, and including myself to some degree, you underestimate the ACL injury coming back. And then to deal with that, with all of a sudden you don't have LeGarrette Blount, you don't have Jay Ajayi, you don't have another outside wide receiver, and your offensive line is banged up and not playing well. What is he supposed to do?
Right.
And I think people they don't look at those other things. They just see him.
Right. I mean, you can take a look at Deshaun Watson and see that he's had some flashes. I mean, he's had some great games this year, but at the beginning of the year, he struggled. I mean, again, because he tore his ACL earlier than Wentz. But it usually does take about a year for them to become what they are. And he's definitely not running the way he did last year. I know I have my fantasy team, unfortunately. Well, actually, he's done good. I have Brady on my fantasy team. You want to talk about a freaking bust. Wow. Brady looks mortal this year, which is crazy. But, so, do you mind hanging out for a few more minutes? I'd like to actually take some questions from the chat over there. Since, again, you've been so freaking... I do see a lot of arguing going on over here, though, however. I don't know what the hell is going on over here.
It's probably about Wentz.
It's not about Wentz. There's just going back at each other, back and forth. This is some beef going on here between them. But I don't know what's going on.
Fight!
But yeah. Do any of you guys have any questions for my man Philly500 about the Eagles? You got any questions for me about the Giants? Anybody? There's 72 people in here, so again, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And again, I can't thank you enough for dealing with me through all the freaking this EDP. Oh, he says thoughts on EDP as a fellow Eagles fan.
I like EDP. I personally like him. And I don't judge him on an Eagle fan or anything. I judge the person how I interact with them, and I like EDP. I think EDP is a real Eagle fan. I think he really legitimately gets pissed off and frustrated and says things out of frustration. I'm an older guy. There's a lot of older Eagle fans who would say things like him out of frustration. Some of the newer generation, they don't do that, and that's fine. But I think EDP is a legitimate Eagles fan. Sometimes he loses his mind and maybe, he does things that people don't like on video. But I think he's a real Eagle fan.
I know when the Giants stink, I usually like to go over there and watch him because it makes me feel better about my team. That's for sure. I had beef with EDP, but I'm with you. Actually, I think EDP is very entertaining. And like I said, if I need a good laugh or my team's in bad, I'm like, you know what? His video is going to make me feel better. So I go back and watch him. Yeah. The Entertainer Talking Sports asks, and I know we discussed this earlier, where'd it go? How much do you think Frank Reich had to do with the offensive success of the Eagles last year?
I at first, at the beginning of the year, I really didn't think that much. But after watching the Colts the last 3 weeks, just watching how they play, how they call the offensive game, I'm like, oh, this is the same exact offense. I think it's a big deal. I think that was a big loss. And remember, he wasn't supposed to go anywhere. McDaniels in New England decided to not take the job at the last second. We lost Dave Filippo, who would have been our offensive coordinator, and then they took Reich. So I think it was a huge loss. Right.
Jeremy Bramlett says we're going to tie. We're not going to tie, Jeremy. The Giants are going to win. He's a Cowboys fan, by the way. Yeah, he's one of my biggest supporters of my channel. He's always here.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he is. Oh, he goes to your streams. Yes. He is a great guy, yes. Absolutely great guy. But he says we're going to tie. But no, the Giants are going to get the W, Jeremy. We have to. We have to make this interesting. It just has to be with us. Cindy Eubanks asks, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying I may pull if they lose.
Oh, yeah.
The frustration is boiling. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's frustration there, and it's boiling.
And then to lose to the Giants on top of it.
Well, if we lose to the Giants, who we always own, then it's not your year.
Right. Yeah. Cindy Eubanks asks, can the Eagles stop the run?
They didn't against Saquon before or Ezekiel Elliott. They've done a good job many other times. But it's a good question. I don't know. We'll have to see. They had a problem. They had problems with Barkley. And I think they're going to have problems with Barkley for a long time.
Yeah. Your so typical so-and-so asks, do you think Josh Adams has the potential as a Blunt 2.0?
Yeah, as a Blunt 2.0, can get the heart. Yeah, I think maybe in the future, I think he does. But I think they got to use him more. If, for whatever reason, they just don't use him. And I thought he's been the best running back.
Right. I think so, too. I think he's got the best talent. Rick H. says, Bad Dog, ask Philly if he ever smoked that Bucks victory cigar.
Yes, I did. I smoke a lot of stogies here and there.
Stogs. Last Jedi. Whoops, where did I just go? Oh boy.
Yeah, Rick H was a nice Tampa guy, Buccaneer fan.
Yes.
And he came by the week 2. I was so high. I was like, they're gonna kill Tampa. And they double moonwalked their ass.
Yep.
And we didn't have Carson. We had Nick Foles. We had the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's a great guy. And I did have a victory cigar I was gonna smoke, and eventually I did smoke it. I'm not gonna lie.
All right. Last Jedi says Philly500. Should I ask Josh Adams on fantasy and cut Chris Carson?
No, I don't think they can give him the ball enough. I don't. They don't use Josh Adams enough that I can see him viable to play. If he's talking about playing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I picked up Josh Adams because I have no running backs. My running backs are all hurt. I had Dalvin Cook, I had Chris Thompson. They're all banged up. I had Bilal Powell. I mean, can you have any more injuries? And I was like, I'll pick him up. And then he had the one good game, but other than that, not really doing that well. Jake's 199456 says Philly500. Who do you see the Eagles drafting? Do you have a player in mind?
I don't have a player yet. To me, it's like I can't even focus on that yet because you know how the draft goes.
I do.
Like who's projected now is going to change so dramatically by the time you have the combine and stuff. And
right.
I don't know. I have positions in mind. I like wide receiver. I take a running back in a second. Offensive lineman. I'm a very when it comes to the draft, I'm usually best player available in the first round. I don't care, regardless of position, except for punter and if you have a quarterback. Best player available.
All right. Sydney asks, will the Eagles stack the box on Barkley? That's a good question because your secondary is really weak. So, I mean, what do you guys do? How do you work that conundrum there of trying to cover our receivers and stopping Saquon Barkley?
I don't think they're going to stack the box. No, I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to do the exact same thing they've done all year long. I think they're going to rush 4, rush 3, and they're going to drop guys back like they've done.
Norkill says, do you believe my Bears will go far in the playoffs?
I think the Bears are a sleeper team. I don't think they can beat New Orleans. I don't think they can beat the Rams. But I think they can win a playoff game for sure.
They can beat Dallas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would love that.
Jerry Bramlett asks, who has the better defense? That's a good question. Because we both suck, yeah. Our defense is both.
At least you got some starters available. We don't even have almost our entire secondary. Our corners are all out. Sidney Jones is out. Jalen Mills is out. Ronald Darby is out. Avonte Maddox is out. They're all out.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say the Giants at this point.
I don't even know if I would say that. It's so bad. Our players are healthy. That tells you how bad our defense is.
It's going to be a 50-55.
It might be like that Sooners-West Virginia game yesterday, which drove me out of my mind, by the way. Crazy Dog 99. Speaking of Oklahoma, Crazy Dog 99 asks, "What do you think of Baker Mayfield?"
I like Baker Mayfield a lot. I honestly wasn't expecting. I didn't think he was going to be as good at this early as he is. I think if they put a right coach around him to develop him, I think he could be really good. But I like the kid a lot.
Sydney asks, are you worried about Odell more than Barkley?
I'm worried about both of them. I'm worried about both of them. I would say pretty much the same.
Yeah. What's up, Andre? How you doing? Just going through these here real quick. Well, Eagles 01 says after Giants go Eagles. It makes sense. We got anything else here? Eagles have a Super Bowl hangover. Saints defense is great. Blah, 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 blah. No other questions? I think I caught up on everything here. I know. I keep seeing that A-Bomb made a video about me. I don't talk trash anymore. My not going back there. My channel's in a much different direction these days. Entertainer Talking Sports says, why do you think Sterling Shepard's had such great success against your team? Because Sterling Shepard has had some big games against the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that he's a good receiver. We've struggled against good, quick receivers before. I mean, it happens. I think the defense. I think what people don't understand is our pass rush was a lot better last year. But I think our secondary was what it was. It's just that we played with the league so much, they could play a lot differently.
Right.
Sterling Shepard is very talented.
Yes. I mean, I loved that pick. I mean, being a Sooners guy, I watched him for years at Oklahoma. And he was awesome. That's why if Baker Mayfield was available number 2, I would have had no problem reuniting Baker Mayfield with Sterling Shepard. But I'm glad we got Barkley. I mean, I could not be more happy with the Saquon Barkley pick. I freaking love it.
Hate it.
Connor, yes, I see you, Connor. Them Buckeyes ripped Michigan today. I actually enjoy that because that helps Oklahoma a lot. So we should move up to 5 this week. We're going to need Alabama to beat Georgia. We're going to need to beat Texas, and then we should be in there. Foundation asks, who do you think the Heisman winner is? Do you watch college football? Like, I don't even...
Little bit here now. I focus more on the players. Once this college season ends, I start watching all the college tapes. And
right.
That's what I normally do. I'll watch it. If there's a good game on, I'll watch. I'll watch Penn State. I like Penn State. I like Miami. For some reason, my cousin got me into the Hurricanes when I was young. I think Jerome Brown came from Miami.
Right.
And that was it. But I'm not super big on it.
Foundation asks, who's your favorite Eagles player of all time?
Reggie White.
Yeah.
I'll give you my top 3. Reggie White, Brian Dawkins, Randall Cunningham. Top 3.
All 3 of them gave me nightmares. All 3 of them.
Yeah, I love it.
I hated Brian Dawkins probably more than any other Eagle in history. Except maybe Clyde Simmons, because Clyde Simmons, your defense was nasty back in the day, man. Clyde Simmons, Jerome Brown, Reggie White. It was crazy. Seth Joyner. Eric Allen was one of my all-time favorite players. I hated that he played for the Eagles. I loved Eric Allen. I thought Eric Allen was one of the best cornerbacks. I thought he was better than Deion Sanders, to be honest with you. That's how much
he was great.
He was.
He was a good all-around. He could tackle. He could hit. He could play. He could cover. He was a great player. Clyde Simmons too was he's a very underrated Eagle. People don't realize he would have 19, 18 sacks a year.
Yeah. JF asks me, what am I most worried about tomorrow? I am most worried about Zach Ertz, without a doubt. Ertz worries me more than anything else they're going to do, because I watched what George Kittle did to us on Monday night. Anyway, I watched him tear up Landon Collins. We have not done well against the tight end all year. Zach Ertz is the best tight end in the league, in my opinion. And, I'm really worried about Zach Ertz.
And I'll tell you what, based upon what the Eagles have been doing this year, they're going to go to him every other passing play. So
yeah. Jeremy Bramlett says, I want to thank y'all both. Y'all are great video makers. I really appreciate everything you do. And I'm sure I'll let you speak to that too. But we appreciate you very much, Jeremy, without a doubt. I mean, you're very big supporter of my channel, and I really can't thank you enough for everything you do for me. So, I mean,
yeah, he always shows up. He always has something good to say and interesting, and he always donates, and he's just a great guy. So yeah, I appreciate him very much.
Yeah, and he's a Cowboys fan.
And he's a Cowboys.
That tells you that.
Perfect. He's close. But
right. That's I said. We can't all be like you. You're an Eagles fan. Otherwise, you might be perfect. You know what I mean? You look like my cousin Minnie. What's that?
Tell that to my wife.
What?
I tell her if he wasn't able to be perfect, she'll laugh at me.
West Buck. Where did that go? Oh shoot, where'd that go? West Buck said, "Holy shit! Just realized how buff Bad Dog is." Or is that a pic from years ago? That picture is from 2 years ago. I'm actually in better shape now than I was then. So I still hit the gym 5 days a week, and I am still built like a safety. Yes, I'm 6 foot, 205 pounds. I have about 7.5% body fat. I work very hard in the gym.
And I destroyed that cheeseburger.
Yeah, you double moonwalk the ass of that cheeseburger. Right? Did you wash down with some eggnog?
I don't have it.
No, I mean the cheeseburger. Was that from today?
That was from today.
Oh, I thought that was an old picture. I didn't even know. I'll take a couple more questions, and I'll let this man go since he's been with me for like 3 hours because I couldn't figure out what the hell I was doing here. Three-year reduction says, could the Giants win out and win the NFC East at 9-7? If the Giants win out and go 9-7, there's a good possibility they do. But to win out, as I've been saying the whole time, I just want to take it one game at a time. We worry about Philadelphia this week. Got to beat Philly first. We can't win out without beating Philadelphia. So we worry about beating Philadelphia. We play this game, then we worry about the Bears, which is definitely the toughest team on our schedule for the rest of the year. We have to play Dallas again. We have to play Washington again. And we have to play the Colts. It's not going to be easy. If we win out, and listen, if the Giants win out and go to the playoffs, I'm going to think we can do some damage just because we have to beat some damn good teams. Of course, if we play New Orleans, they'll kill us because we'd go to New Orleans and that wouldn't even be a chance. But 9-7, it would take a miracle. I don't think we're going 9-7. I just don't think that's going to happen.
I can't see it. It would be one hell of a story. I just don't see how you beat Chicago. I mean, I don't think they're going to beat us, but Chicago especially.
Yeah. Well, I don't worry about your defense as much as I do theirs. Their defense reminds me of not the 85 Bears, the 86 Giants. That linebacking core is ridiculous. If I don't know, I have to get a hold of Sports Fury. I don't know if I'm doing the working with them this week because we are playing the Bears. Obviously I did the thing with Sean. I'll probably do the thing with Josh. So I'll talk more about that in that video. I got to get a hold of those guys to see what's going on. Yeah. Jeremy, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I really appreciate it. He says, "What's the score predictions?" I'll let you go first. Your score prediction.
I have Eagles 28-24.
I have Giants. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. That's what I think. I think they're going to go back and forth, and I'm thinking that Carson's going to step up after the bad performance last week, and he's going to pull one out later in the fourth.
Yeah. Give the Giants another touchdown and take 1 point away from you. 31-27 Giants is my prediction. Odell Beckham goes for 103 yards and a touchdown, and Saquon Barkley goes over 100 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns. And we go in there and we beat you for the first time. Listen, we're due, man. Come on. We're due. We have to win a game in Philadelphia. It has to happen. I'm not getting any younger.
Now, I want it to be at the end of the year when we've clinched home field and it's a meaningless game. You can have it then.
I'll take it. I take that.
Right now, it can't be tomorrow. It can't be tomorrow because it'll end our season. I think it ends our season.
It has to be.
Because I just don't think they recover.
Do I have any more questions? I don't think so. I think I caught up. So, listen, guys, I want to thank you very much for hanging out and dealing with this crap that I don't even... Listen, guys, I don't know what the hell I did. Philly500 tell you, I don't know what the hell I did to fix the damn static. I'm pushing buttons. I'm messing around. I keep streaming. And all of a sudden, I did it. I'm like, that worked! Oh, my God, we're going live. So, yeah. I want to thank you guys so much for everything you do for my channel. I really do appreciate it. You guys have helped me grow a lot. I really enjoy doing the live streams. Now that I think I fixed this static, I will definitely want to do more of this with other YouTubers, but I definitely wanted to do it with Philly500. And again, dude, I cannot thank you enough for the patience of a saint, brother. I guess when you wait all those years to win a Super Bowl, I guess dealing with me for an hour and a half ain't that bad, right?
Well, it was kind of entertaining. Yeah, because I didn't feel like the biggest dingbat around.
No, I definitely took. If you were the king dingbat, I was the Lord dingbat tonight.
You were.
I don't know what the hell was going on.
King dingbat, Lord dingbat.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I tell you, I was honored that you had me on. I've respected your videos for a long time, and I appreciate everything you do, especially coming from a Giants perspective. So. I wanted to work with you for a while, so it was worth the wait.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you very much, man. And of course, again, I don't have it in there now, guys, but go back. I'm going to put once I end this, I'm going to put the link to his channel in there. If you're not subscribed to Philly500, do yourself a favor, especially if you're an Eagles fan. Sub him up. Great content, knows what he's talking about. And like I said, he's an Eagles fan. If he wasn't an Eagles fan, he'd be a perfect guy. He really would be. But again, we all have our faults. That's just how it is. So again, guys, I really appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. And again, he's live streaming the game tomorrow. I'm live streaming the game tomorrow. So go back and forth and watch us both rage because you know what's going to happen from both of us. So y'all have a good night and take care of yourself.